Welcome everyone, join us as we delve into the life and legacy of Doug Fieger, the charismatic frontman of the Knack, the creative force behind My Sharona. So let's dive in. Doug Fieger, born Douglas Lars Fieger on August 20, 1952 at Harper Hospital in Detroit, Michigan, United States of America. Born the middle of three children, with an older brother, attorney Jeffrey Fieger, and younger sister Beth. Fieger's father Bernard was Jewish and a noted labor civil rights lawyer, while his mother June was Norwegian and a teacher and union organizer for the Michigan Federation of Teachers. Raised in Oak Park, Michigan, a northern suburb of Detroit, Fieger attended Oak Park High School. Well-rounded artistically from an early age, he took piano lessons at the age of 5 and trumpet lessons at 11. He also played the lead in Peter Pan at the Detroit Institute of Arts. In 1964, inspired by seeing the Beatles perform live on The Ed Sullivan Show, Fieger was prompted to pick up the guitar. At the age of 12, his parents bought him his first guitar, a 1963 Gretsch Country Gentleman, and he went on to form his first band, the Royal Jammers. Not long after, Fieger met Bobby Boyle, who lived across the street and was in a band called Spirit. Boyle offered Fieger a gig in the band on the condition that Fieger switched to bass and let John Carey play his Country Gentleman guitar. Fieger rented a St. George bass and joined Spirit, playing a lot of bass-heavy material, including songs by The Animals, The Yardbirds, and The Beatles. Before morphing into Sky, Fieger and Carey, along with drummer Robert Greenfield, had a band that played all Beatles cover songs. Soon, Fieger and Carey started writing their own songs, transitioning from a cover band to an original band at a very young age. Fieger started having some success with Sky while still in high school. Although underage, they played regular gigs at the Grand Ballroom with popular acts like the MC5, Bob Seger, and the Stooges, as well as national acts such as The Who, Traffic, Joe Cocker, Jethro Tull, and the Jeff Beck Group. The owner of the Grand, Russ Gibbs, signed on as their manager. Fieger met Dave Mason of Traffic during a party at Gibbs' house. Mason passed along the address of their producer, Jimmy Miller, who was becoming famous as a producer for Traffic, Blind Faith, Spencer Davis Group, and the Rolling Stones. Fieger wrote a letter to Jimmy Miller, inviting him to check out his band if he ever visited Detroit. Miller called Fieger and agreed to see the band if they arranged a tour of Motown Studios for him. In February 1970, the band took Miller to Motown Studios and later jammed for him in Fieger's basement. Impressed by their performance, Miller signed the group to his production company the next day, eventually securing them a recording contract with RCA Records. In July 1970, just 5 days after Fieger graduated high school, Jimmy Miller flew the band to London to record their first album, Don't Hold Back, at Olympic Studios. After recording was completed, Sky moved to Los Angeles on Miller's suggestion. About 6 months later, Miller took the band back into the studio to record their second album, Sailor's Delight. Both albums were warmly received, but weak marketing led to tepid sales. In 1973, the band broke up due to youth and management hassles. While the other members moved back to Michigan, Fieger stayed in California. Besides performing, Fieger worked as a producer on the Rubber City Rebels' debut album for Capitol Records and also produced an album for the Los Angeles band Mystery Pop. He teamed up with the Rebels drummer, Brandon Matheson, in the group Sunset Bombers, releasing a single album on Areola Records before the formation of the Knack. Upon arriving in Los Angeles, Fieger met Burton Averill, who played lead guitar and keyboards. The two quickly formed a songwriting partnership. Fieger had also been acquainted with drummer Bruce Gary for several years before they decided to form the Knack in 1978, bringing on Prescott Niles as the bassist. Niles joined the band just a week before their first performance in June 1978. Prior to Niles' arrival, Fieger played bass on a series of demos that they presented to various record labels, all of which were initially rejected. Some of these songs were later included on their debut album, Get the Knack, featuring the track, Good Girls Don't. The Knack played their first gig at Hollywood's Whiskey A Go Go nightclub on June 1, 1978. Within a few months of their live debut, popular club performances on the Sunset Strip and guest jams with musicians like Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, and Ray Manzarek led to a record label bidding war over the band. Pursued by 10 record labels, the Knack ultimately chose Capitol Records, receiving the largest signing bonus in the label's history at that time. A&R executives Bruce Garfield and Bruce Ravid were credited with signing the band. The debut album of the band, Get the Knack, emerged as one of the top-selling albums of the year, dominating the #1 position on Billboard magazine's album chart for 5 continuous weeks and achieving sales of 2 million copies in the United States alone. The lead single, My Sharona, soared to the top spot on the charts in the US, becoming the standout hit of 1979. The subsequent single, Good Girls Don't, reached a peak position of number 11 in the US and claimed the number 1 spot in Canada. The Knack's rapid ascent to the top of the charts triggered a backlash due to Capitol's packaging of their debut album, which bore striking similarities to Meet the Beatles. The record's design and style, reminiscent of early 1960s LPs by the Beatles, coupled with the band's retro look and sound, led critics to accuse them of being Beatles imitators, a claim vehemently denied by the band and their record company. Fieger admitted to the band's likeness to the Beatles, explaining their intention to replicate the British invasion. However, critics argued that the intense marketing of the band was distorting memories of the 1960s for those who hadn't experienced it firsthand. This perception, along with the lyrical focus on teenage girls in some of their songs, sparked a Nuke the Knack campaign led by artist Hugh Brown. The Knack swiftly released their second album, But the Little Girls Understand, in early 1980. Although it achieved gold status in the US and Japan, and platinum in Canada, it didn't replicate the same commercial success as their debut. Fieger later revealed that all tracks for both albums were written before recording the first LP and were initially intended for a double album release. Despite this, the lead single, Baby Talks Dirty, only briefly reached the US Top 40, peaking at number 38, but reaching number 13 in Canada, while the follow-up single, Can't Put a Price on Love, failed to crack the top 40, peaking at number 62. After an extensive year-long tour across the US, Canada, Europe, New Zealand, Australia, and Japan starting in April 1980, the band took a hiatus in April 1981 due to exhaustion and internal conflicts. They regrouped in the summer of 1981 to record their third album, Round Trip, released in October of the same year. However, the album performed poorly commercially, reaching only number 93 on the Billboard chart and selling 150,000 copies. Despite several concert appearances to promote Round Trip, the band faced diminishing success and increasing critical backlash. Fieger departed on December 31, 1981, amidst internal disputes, shortly after the album's release. By mid-1982, the Knack disbanded, while Fieger formed a new band called Doug Fieger's Taking Chances. In 1983, Fieger worked as a guest vocalist on a few tracks on Was Not Was album, Born to Laugh at Tornadoes. The Knack reunited in November 1986 for a benefit concert and continued to perform at club gigs for several years. In July 1989, Billy Ward replaced Bruce Gary as the drummer. The band signed with Charisma Records in 1990 and released the album Serious Fun in February 1991. The lead single, Rocket O Love, became a top 10 hit on USAOR stations. However, Charisma Records collapsed after the death of its founder, leading to the band's breakup in 1992. Throughout the late 1990s and into the 2000s, the Knack continued touring and recording. In 1994, the band reunited with drummer Billy Ward for concert appearances, capitalizing on the renewed popularity of My Sharona, after its feature in the movie Reality Bites. Even performing the song on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. In 1996, all four original members reunited to record a track for a Badfinger tribute album. Fieger released two solo albums, First Things First in 1999, and later with Hankerings, a Hank Williams tribute, posthumously in 2010. In 2005, the Knack appeared on Hit Me Baby One More Time. In 2006, Fieger and Burton Avare sued Run DMC for copyright infringement over the use of My Sharona's guitar riff in song, It's Tricky. However, in 2006, Fieger faced health challenges, diagnosed with 2 brain tumors. After surgery and treatment, he returned to performing, even appearing solo at the Countdown Spectacular 2 concert series, in Australia in 2007, where he sang My Sharona. Fieger faced health challenges with the diagnosis of lung cancer in 2007, leading to extensive chemotherapy and the removal of half of his lung. This marked the end of the Knack as Fieger battled brain and lung cancer. Throughout his illness, his former wife, Mia, played a significant role in his care. Sadly, Fieger passed away at his home in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, on February 14, 2010, at the age of 57. Survived by his older brother Jeffrey Fieger and younger sister Beth Falkenstein, Fieger's legacy extended beyond his music. He wrote song, My Sharona for his not-yet-girlfriend, Sharona Alperin, who he would eventually date for 4 years, but part and marry other people. Sharona remained a close friend and visited him frequently during his final months. And there you have it. As we conclude our tribute to Doug Fieger, his contributions to rock music continue to resonate, inspiring new generations of musicians and fans. Be sure to like and subscribe for more stories about the legends who shaped the soundtracks of our lives. Thanks for watching and bye for now.